Hello everyone and welcome to the 2021 Dynamic Discs Open presented by Dynamic Discs in Emporia, Kansas. This is the second stop on the PDGA National Tour for the 2021 season. Your commentary team today is myself, Paige Shue.
And I'm Deanne Carey.
We're excited to bring you action from the FPO Chase Card Round 3 at the Emporia Country Club. This is Dynamic Disc feature course here and we're excited to see these women attack. On the card today we have Heather Young, Team Prodigy, Maria Oliva, Team Innova. She is really fun to watch. She has some sneaky distance, so I'm excited to see her play. We got Sarah, Team MVP, looking all serious with her shades. Excited to see how she attacks the course. And lefty powerhouse Emily Beach. I got to play with her round 2 and she throws far.
She throws really far.
Yeah, and has a really solid putt. So these are your scores coming into round 3. It's tight. Heather is at 1, Marie is at 2, Hokom and Emily are at 3. And here at Country Club, a lot of strokes are to be had and to be lost. So
we have hole 1. This is a 999-foot par 5. This is a very tricky hole because there is OB left and right, and you're coming up on those flags right there. That is OB.
Yeah.
Teeing off first from Kingston,
like right
Tennessee, sponsored by Prodigy, Heather Young.
Yeah, so this hole on the, pretty much us FPO are throwing as hard as we can, like 3 different times. Really, it's a pretty wide enough fairway. Yeah, I think that'll be on the left, probably comes into play a little bit more. And it does play downhill to start, which is nice, but then your second shot, you're pretty much throwing a straight uphill. So it's tough, but you just want to pump it as far as you can on that first shot. And what's nice and what I like about this is the starting hole is that since it's so wide
Sponsored
open,
by Innova, Maria Oliva.
Yeah,
And especially since they changed the tee pad this year. They put it up on the hill kind of more in the middle of the fairway this year.
Yeah, it allows us to get more of a flexy shot than it did in the previous years. Excited to see how Maria throws.
And the only thing about the Country Club is don't get it high up in the air because the wind will take it.
Yes, wind
From
is always
Caldwell,
a factor here
Idaho,
at Country Club.
the
Maria got that
2012
little
World
high,
Champion,
not quite turned
sponsored by
enough, but she stayed in bounds and she throws
MVP,
pretty far, so
Sarah
she's still a decent
Hokom.
ways down the fairway. Hokom's probably just flexing something as hard as she can. She's trying to get as much distance as possible.
That looks like it's going to be a really good shot just down there in the middle.
Yeah, that's textbook play.
Sponsored by Innova, Emily Beach.
Now we're definitely in for a treat watching Emily today. Seems like her Shrike is her go-to distance driver.
And that's going to be a great shot.
She crushed that.
Oh, yeah.
And she threw it high and she still got far, so. Looks like Hokom's probably throwing something similar, maybe playing it a little bit more out left just to get as much flex as possible since she is going up, the throw is uphill. She's just staying in the middle of the fairway. It's a pretty boring starting hole.
Yeah.
The birdie is in play though, so even if you don't throw super far, you could probably still have a decent birdie look.
Yeah, you just really want to get to the top of the hill on the second shot.
Mm-hmm. Maria put a move on that one. She had a lot of right carry. Wow, that was pretty far. She's passed over the top of that hill, so she'll have an easy up and down for birdie, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. Man, this makes me feel like a noodle. They are throwing real far. Where Hokom is on her second shot right now is pretty typical.
Yeah, that's about where I try to land.
Mm-hmm. Now she'll have an easy pitch up and down for her par. Good rip from Heather on her third shot, I believe.
I believe so. So she'll be laying up for the par.
So this is Maria's third shot.
Ooh, and she cooked it past the basket.
Yeah, that's pretty long. She's probably regretting that one. It was a good line. It seemed like she needed to throw it hard to hit her line, and that's why she went far. Emily's doing it a little bit more touchy. Just kind of softied it. Probably regretting that one. But I've seen her make those putts, so you never know. Sarah also going a little long. This basket sits on top of a tiny bit of a hill. I feel like it's enough to kind of mess with you, but you should be able to make it if you're inside the circle. So this is Emily for her birdie. She's really taking her time, focusing.
Oh, that was a good bid. And she's just going to tap in her par. This is Maria for birdie.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Dang, I wanted to see a birdie.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. It looks like a bunch of pars are going to be happening.
Par's great on this
surprised.
hole.
Absolutely. Hokom with a solid putt to start. Okay, so Maria has long legs, long arms. She's built for disc golf. She can really throw. She has a nice long putt as well. So she's going to shred it out here. The rest are just tap in pars. So really no scoring changes here since everybody got a par. All right, hole 2. This is 576 feet. It plays uphill. It is a par 4. There is OB on the left, that fairway off to the left. There is no OB on the right, but there is a big tree that can kind of pull your disc towards it. So you kind of got to be careful if you're really trying to flex something. Your second shot, you want to get up and over this hill and kind of have a slow finish and give yourself a putt inside the circle for birdie. Most of us are just trying to throw as far as we can up that hill.
And they got past that tree. That's really good.
Yeah, Heather's trusting something, throwing a nice flex shot. She has to contend with that tree off to the left to get her max distance, and I'm sure Sarah will have to contend with that as well. Maria's just ripping something up the middle. It didn't seem like she was trying to get too aggressive, but she knows she has enough distance to really get there on her second shot.
And Sarah just flexing it up there. Sitting in a good shot. Your first shot really depends on if you can go for the birdie or not on your second shot.
Mm-hmm. I like that Sarah put it up really high. It really compensated for the uphill shot, so she got a lot more distance. That looked like Emily was going straight for that tree, but she had enough power to get around it.
Come on, Remy.
So that was a nice line by Sarah. She came up a little bit short. It's really hard to pinpoint this distance on the second shot because you throw uphill, but then it goes back downhill. So it's a really touchy distance.
That cluster of trees right there is really where most people are going to land on their second shot.
Yeah, Heather just got past him, and she'll have about right outside the circle's edge for a putt.
It's a good shot from Maria.
Emily got way down there. Oh, she hit a tree? Yeah, I think she hit a tree that knocked her down.
So Emily will just be laying up for the par. Oh, she went a little past it.
Can't believe that didn't go in.
I don't know if Hokom was really giving that one a run, but she has an easy tap-in par. This is Maria for birdie.
Oh yeah, that was a good birdie.
Great putt for Maria. Birdies are pretty good on this hole.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Not very typical for Heather.
Emily missing a little short. Heather tapping in her par.
Yeah, a few pars, couple of one birdie. That seems pretty typical for this hole.
Okay, hole 3. This is a 489-foot par 4. You really want to go through this gap right here, these trees, and kind of just throw something as straight as you can. There is OB on the left and the right. The left OB is kind of more down the hill. So I feel like most women are contending with turning something over to the right on the sidewalk. And
yeah, I think both the OBs, the left and the right, are pretty hard to reach.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are just trying to throw something, a flexi shot. Dang,
And Maria getting all the way down there.
Holy cow, that's a rip. This actually played as the easiest hole on the course. It is a pretty easy par 4. I mean, we're pretty impressed with Maria getting as far down as she was, and she's still outside the circle. So
Yes.
it's definitely a merited par 4. It did play as the easiest hole. Played .57 under par.
And Sarah just... Did she hit a tree down there?
I think so. Doesn't seem too happy about that one.
Emily going the wide route. And she
You
got
know-
caught up in that tree too.
That surprises me. I feel like if she went inside and got a good move on it, she could probably give herself a putt for 2. So maybe she just knows she's doing well. She just wants to play safe, get there for her par. Or birdie,
Not
I guess,
deal with the
technically.
OB on the right side.
Come on, baby.
Oh, and that's a perfect shot for Sarah for the easy
We're
birdie.
playing koozies for Margos right now.
So if they hit the... Yeah, so if you hit the koozie, it's mark birdie time.
Hokom's having a good start to her round.
Oh, and unfortunately that skipped out of bounds.
Wow, I'm surprised. Surprised that she erred that much. But she'll have probably inside the circle, maybe circle's edge putt for her par save.
Heather leaving it a little bit short, but it looks like it still should be inside circle 1. And Maria
For her
maybe
eagle.
a little nervous for the eagle putt.
It seemed like she rushed it a little. Maybe she was like, okay, let's not overthink it. And I don't know. But she'll have a tap in birdie. No problem. Here's Heather's birdie.
Ooh.
She'll take it. We must have missed Emily's putt, but she'll take a bogey after that OB stroke. And we'll see Maria tapping in her birdie pretty easily.
The easiest birdie I've seen.
And Hokom also tapping out for birdie. So there's a look at your current scorecard. Good action happening here. All right, this is hole 4. It is a 438-foot downhill, but then back uphill par 3. Pretty much all we're trying to do is throw as far as we can. All of this that we're flying over is safe. The only OB that we have to contend with is that golf green on the right that you can see with those white flags, but most of us, we can't really reach that OB. So we're just trying to throw max distance and then have a putter upshot, maybe a flick upshot, and walk away with our par. Maybe the max distance throwers can reach this hole, but most of us can't. Maria turning it over.
Catching that out of bounds green over there.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I didn't go OB, but I just didn't feel how strong the wind was, and it was really pushing my disc over to the right.
And Sarah kind of using that to help her.
It's sweet when you don't throw far enough to get to
She's right in the middle. She's a little short, but it's still a routine up and down. Emily's ripping on probably some sort of strike or destroyer, and she gets down there pretty far. Heather has a long upshot.
She'll have a outside the circle putt for her par.
Yeah, she'll have some work to do. Hokom going for a backhand on this hole. A little short, but Hokom's a great putter. Emily just tossing one up there. Not really going for anything too special. So this is Maria for her par save. So maybe she's trying to give it a little bit of a run. She kind of was floating it.
She hit a tree, but it should be right there for the
bogey. It seems like she's just trying to minimize her mistakes there.
Oh, that was a good run from Heather. She'll tap in for her bogey.
Well, interesting miss from Sarah. Not typical. She's probably kicking herself for that one. She'll be walking away with a bogey. Maria with a good bogey putt.
Emily with the only par on the card.
That's pretty surprising. This hole's definitely, and I would consider it an easy par 3.
When the PDGA National Tour rolls into town, the action is intense and the competition fire. But every inferno, no matter the size, must begin as a spark. With PDGA sanctioned leagues and tournaments, anyone can get in the game. Fuel your fire. Find an event near you at pdga.com.
Hole 5, we have a 537-foot par 4. This hole is very tricky. It's uphill, and you have this inbounds area that we're flying over right now. Left and right is out of bounds, and then you have the basket all the way up here.
Yeah, it's long. It's a long par 4, and just as you can see, it gets tighter and tighter as you go closer towards the basket.
Emily just has a great drive just in the middle. I feel like for some reason there's always a headwind on this hole.
Always. It's hard to manage just with OB left if you get it too high, OB right if you turn it over too much. It's tricky.
Oh, and that's a crush from Maria. She should be sitting in a good spot.
Yeah, that was going to be pretty far. I mean, she hit that tree pretty high in the air. Heather's throwing out a hyzer, and that's where us normal people land.
Yeah.
Really, it's that second shot that you got to worry about. It really depends on where you are in terms of where the trees are, what your second shot's going to look like, and then the OB as well. So there's a lot that comes into play for the second shot.
Ooh, that looked like it was going to be a good sidearm.
Yeah, just a little high. You have to deal with those low branches as you get closer to the basket. So if you're probably where Heather is, you kind of want to throw something slower because it's not that far away like a putter, but because it's such a low ceiling, you know, you're not getting enough air underneath it, it's easy to short that upshot and leave yourself like a 35 uphill putt. So, flare skip.
And unfortunately, she threw it out of bounds. Maria up here with just the little hyzer.
Dang, she's standing still.
With a mid-range, I believe.
Oh. That is worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. I bet she was really happy about that drive. She could have gotten a pretty easy birdie. It's hard to trust herself to push it far enough and trust the fade. It seemed like she was just a little timid, and that's why she hit that tree. So now she has this long look for her par save.
And she's laying under the basket for a bogey. Emily doing the same thing. That was a good par save for Heather.
Yeah, that was high change. She was really confident, really committed. And it stuck.
Stepped on the strap and it pulled me back.
I'm always stoked if I get a 4 on this hole.
Picked it up.
Yeah.
Picked it up and then I stepped on it.
Maria going from kind of birdie look to bogey, birdogey as they call it.
Yeah, Sarah tapping in the par, and I believe Emily's going to tap in her bogey.
Yeah, with that OB stroke. Pretty typical, some pars, some bogeys. This hole can mess with you for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, hole 6, 335-foot par 3. This is a new hole to the country club if y'all have seen any coverage from previous years. We used to play from down the hill and go up, but this time it's just kind of straight and off to the left. There is OB on the left side, that's pretty close, and on the right side, that's really not in contention, but the basket's on a little like bubble of inbounds. So the second shot is going to be where you kind of got to be pretty touchy. Maybe the max distance throwers in our field can get there for the birdie, but most of us are just trying to not land out of bounds on the drive.
This is a pretty tough hole to be
I'd say so.
as short as it is,
Right?
in my opinion.
And it's a little uphill, and you can't really flex anything. So for us, like people who need to throw max distance, we can't get a full flex, and it's scary. So
Yes. Sarah unfortunately throwing that one a little too low into the ground. Emily looks like this is a good throw. If it
Yeah.
doesn't skip. Yep, and she got the green flag on that one.
yeah, she'll have a more direct look at the basket. Maria with a good pull.
Yeah, I wanted to see Maria go for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's inside the circle. She might have to deal with some low-hanging branches, but
Hey, inside the circle is great on this one.
No.
Sarah throwing a backhand approach.
yeah, this is a scary shot.
Oh, and it looks like it got caught up by the flag.
And that is exactly why it's scary. I mean, you can barely see the green. The little safe island is pretty small as it is, and you're pitching up a hyzer. And it was a backhand for Sarah, and, you know, that's not
Yeah.
her most confident shot.
Heather just pitching up for the par.
Yeah, Heather wasn't trying to park the basket. Since she's a lefty, she kind of hyzered in, giving herself a 15-footer, but she's so confident in those, she knows she's going to be fine.
Emily doing the same thing. Here's Sarah for the bogey.
Bogey save, yeah. She's
Thank
settling,
you.
probably going to settle for that double bogey. Probably not too happy about that one, especially when you have a competitor putting for birdie.
Oh, Maria will just tap in nicely for her par.
Yeah, a little too much gusto. She wanted it. She's had a lot of good opportunities for good scores. A couple of eagles, some birdies, but she's just not quite connecting on the putting green when she needs to. Yeah, you don't want to be double bogey in this hole.
No. There were Hole 7, it's a 531-foot par 4. You're throwing over out of bounds, and you kind of want to land right where the drone is flying over now to get a good upshot for the birdie. I feel like most women are just throwing a hyzer, or maybe Sarah and Emily, a lefty hyzer.
Yeah. I know for me, I'm just trying to throw as far as I can. That tree line to the left, you kind of want to avoid those. If you land near those, you're pretty much pinned off for your second shot, which kind of limits your birdie options. So most of us are just trying to land in the middle, and it's nice that it's a downhill drive, but then that second shot is back uphill, so you kind of have to disc up on that second shot. Emily's disc just turned over quite a bit, but she stays in bounds.
Inbounds.
But again, she'll have a tricky second shot. Maybe because she's a lefty, she can rip a nice wide hyzer and skip. But the grass isn't super skippy out here.
Maria throwing the
Beautiful.
great down the middle shot. Anything past that ditch is really good. Sarah just throwing a good sidearm out there. She'll have to deal with the... Oh, no. She doesn't have to deal with the low-hanging branch. I thought she would.
I thought so too, but she gets down there far enough. Goes over that branch. Gives herself a decent look at her birdie. Heather throws it a little bit too low and a little bit too wide, so she'll have a long look at her birdie. Looks like she released just a little.
Emily looking for the skip shot, it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
She'll have a pretty long look for her birdie as well.
Yeah, it seemed like she needed to get a really overstable disc to get that skip, but not. That disc was a little bit too overstable to get the distance she needed.
Maria looked like she threw a really straight disc for that shot.
Yeah. Got a lot of work to do if she wants to get that birdie. So here's Heather looking for a long jump putt, giving it all she's got. Decent line, just a little bit high.
And that tree's pretty close, so she should have an easy putt for her par.
Mm-hmm. Emily has a similar look for her birdie.
Oh, that was a good bid.
Another caged putt. She's just needing to get those up a little bit more, and she'll be shredding. Not quite enough, you know, rightish, like oomph on her putt. So Maria hits left chain. She'll take a par. Here's Hokom for the last birdie look.
I was hoping to see a birdie on that one.
It's definitely birdieable. But you have to have at least a decent drive.
Oh, yeah.
It's really about all, you know, where you land on the first shot. There's kind of a tester comebacker, but no problem. So it looks like a bunch of pars. Not surprised. Birdies are nice, but par's not bad.
Pars on any hole out here is great.
True that.
There's your updated leaderboard.
All right, hole 8, one of the hardest, scariest holes on this course and probably in all of disc golf. This is a long 918-foot par 5. There's OB on the left, as you can see with those white flags. There's OB sidewalk on the right. The tee shot, they moved it over a little bit to the left this year, so it makes it more of a hyzer drive. But other than that, you're just trying to throw straight, and give yourself maybe a putt for birdie if you're being aggressive, but if not, get yourself a par. If you're getting pars, you're probably gaining strokes. I imagine this is one of the hardest holes on the course.
This is actually the second hardest hole on the course at .73 above
Like,
par.
don't even move
Yeah.
a little bit.
I'd say that because that adjustment of the tee pad, it made it a little easier.
I feel like the hyzer shot for the right-handed player is a lot easier. Emily just, if it sits, oh, that's a great shot.
She's such a good player. She trusts her drives. Maria ripping on some
She needs it to come
overstable.
back. It looks like she's going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, and if you go be off the tee pad, you're probably scrambling for your par since you're so far back.
Sarah throwing a backhand on this hole.
It looked like she late released it quite a bit. And that is out of bounds. Maybe just a grip lock.
Start yelling at all those pictures.
Probably disappointed in herself, but that's a hard forehand shot off the tee pad.
Yeah.
I mean, it forces you to throw basically towards the OB. Or fade towards the
I
OB.
played this round with Ellen, and she threw a sidearm around that tree.
Mm-hmm. Maria's probably just trying to keep it in bounds on the second shot. Wow, she ripped something. Looked like maybe.
Oh, sit down.
Sit.
She might be
I
safe.
think that's safe. I think there's a little bit more room. Oh, no.
Heather.
You know, I've never even thought about that bush, but I guess as a lefty, it might affect your
Oh, yeah.
upshot. So that's unfortunate. She's not going to move up that much. she'll be taking an OB stroke.
And Emily leaving it wide. This should be a really good shot. That's a good shot. I know most people on their second shot, they just want to get to the top of the hill so they can just throw it down.
Yeah, my play is for par, so I just try to get it up on that hill. I'm not
Yes.
trying to do anything too crazy. Heather gets it up there. Hokom shot shape in her forehand.
And that's a good third shot.
So Heather looks like she might be able to reach this. Maybe throwing like kind of a low flexi. There are those low hanging
Yes.
branches.
Oh, yeah, that's a great shot.
Yeah. Inside Heather's range. She'll be looking at that for bogey, I believe. So Maria looked like she did stay in bounds. Her upshot's a little short and right, but it's inside circle, so she should have a decent look. This is all Emily has for her birdie.
She put it inside of the circle, so.
A little low. I'm guessing those branches kind of got into her head, so we'll see if she can make that putt.
Sarah with the backhand approach.
Another cage hit. She just needs to follow through a little bit higher, and she'll be making a lot more putts. Same with Maria, just not quite getting that follow through.
Good putt for Heather to save her bogey. Sarah's going to be tapping in her bogey as well.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 players on this card went out of bounds, and I'm a little surprised, but not too surprised. It is a really hard hole. But I know these ladies are capable of keeping it in the fairway, so I'm sure they're not too happy about it, but they realize, hey, I'm still only got a bogey. There's bigger numbers to be had on that hole. So.
Haley King, Katrina Allen, and Kona Panis were the only ones to get that one.
Nice. Not surprised. They all can throw far.
We have hole 9. This is a 693-foot par 5. Very hard hole.
Yes.
You just want to try to get out of the gap and then try to lay up short of that OB and then try to go for it on your third or fourth shot. But this is a very hard hole as well.
Yeah, your first shot, your main focus is to get out of that tunnel. Wow. And sit.
And that just barely went OB. The problem with this tee shot is if you're not careful, it can drift OB very quickly.
Yeah. If you're, worried about hitting the gap and you're like, okay, I'm just going to rip something off the table just to get through the gap, you have that OB left to contend with.
And Heather with the sidearm just to get out. And looks like she's in a really good spot.
Yeah, the gap is pretty big. It's still early in the year, so stuff isn't quite grown in. That looked like a misrelease for Maria. High release, turned her wrist a little bit, not what she was looking for, so she has to go to the drop zone.
And also, if you don't get past those signs, you're out of bounds as well.
Mm-hmm. And whether you go OB short of those signs or OB left on the sidewalk, you have to go to the drop zone either way.
And this hole actually played the third hardest on the course.
Not surprised.
At .65 over par.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. I mean, especially on your second shot, you have an uphill run up. And you're trying to throw something understable, but give it the air and the height. So there's a lot of things to contend with on the second and third shots. So here's Heather's second shot. This is a good lefty hole. I mean, it plays off to the right, so she's just pitching up a high zero from there. She should have a pretty easy look at getting up and down for her birdie. Hokom throwing a similar line, just not quite as far as Heather.
But she still should have a little bit of a look.
Mm-hmm. So this is Emily's, I guess technically fourth because she threw from the drop zone.
That's a good shot. She's putting at it for par.
Mm-hmm. A par save on this hole after going OB would be pretty incredible.
Yes. Sarah's down there for birdie, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Maria, not bad too. So Heather's up shot is a little trickier than I thought, and she's just trying to throw an overstable forehand shot, and she's up inside the circle.
That was a good putt from par.
It's a great par save. This is Hokom's birdie luck. I don't know what she's doing, but Sarah's always a goof on course.
Good par save for Maria.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Such a great birdie from Heather. This hole sets up really nice for her game.
Mm-hmm. Just a tap out for Sarah. All right, there's your current scorecard after the front 9 here at Emporia Country Club for the 3rd round. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks to Ace Run Pro for filming the FPO. We love watching more women play, so this is great. Thanks to Dynamic Disc for hosting the event. We're excited to see how they attack the back 9 of Emporia Country Club, so we'll see you then.
See ya.